Hi folks, Sunday in the shed yet again, and today is actually going to be quite a busy day because I don't know if I mentioned in some of the previous videos that some of my tools got left out in the rain here some weeks ago and rusted up quite badly, so I'm going to attempt to anyway treat them with WD-40 whilst also trying not to stab myself with the hatchet. In case you are wondering, I'm not going off to join the Cistercian monks. I just had my painting sheet thrown over me to try and save me clothes, although knowing me, it probably will get some WD-40 on it anyway, and if it does, I'm actually not too bothered. I will just ask Darren to show me how to this way is.
No.
Which way does it?
It's coming out of the small red jug.
Right, so
coming out the tube.
So we turn it, say this. Ah, yes, I see the trigger thing.
There we go.
Ah, there we are. Just flip, and I get you to flip it over.
Whew. I won't go near you with the lighter. Unless you know me.
Just notice the head of it.
Well, here, clean them up round about. That's it.
Now that should be him done.
It's just sandpaper or polish? Polish first?
Polish first, I imagine. Dry it off at the right, to say. Although that doesn't appear to be having much of that.
I think, what was the other person said? Sandpaper?
Yeah, well, sure, we have some of that as well, don't we? Let's see.
Yes.
Is the sandpaper doing that?
Are we getting the heavy stuff off?
Oh, good.
Have fun.
Yes, I will.
Get Gary the whole of them.
I'm sure they're wondering who Gary is, I'm sure.
I do forget.
You got us working alright.
Yeah.
God bless the internet and
Well, Facebook.
the Irish Garden page on Facebook. Thanks to everyone who sent in tips and hints and the like, because so far the old sandpaper trick appears to be working. You know, you can't see on the camera at the minute, folks, but I'll get herself to turn her around in a second. We are actually starting to paint the last wall of the place because we have our construction and design people in the morning.
So we just want to get painted where they're going to be.
Now folks, in the next section of video you will see a day which I've been looking forward to since we began this project, or even before, to be honest with you, because this was basically the main objective behind the whole idea when we started. What you see here is my friend and colleague Declan Lynch from the Rehab Care Resource Centre in Dunboyne, just putting my worktop or workbench in place, so I'll be able to get up to God knows what when well, I was going to say when it's finished, but it actually is finished now.
have this evening. Now, I would hope you would notice the way he, what do we say, mounted it. Right, that's it, mounted it. He mounted it as a corner unit in an L shape to give me plenty of room to work on, plenty of space to work on. And if you will also notice in the video that is the workbench, whatever you want to call it, itself is mounted in such a way that it actually has no legs, and that was specifically done, and this will hardly come as a huge shock to anyone, but that was specifically done so as that my wheelchair could fit in under the countertops, so I would be able to do whatever I want to do in the shed, or more specifically, I suppose, at the workbench itself, whenever the opportunity arises to do a bit in it. Just to give you a bit of the facts and figures, and by figures I mean measurements rather than money, because I have to say that compared to what I would have paid in some of the what would we say, well-known branded stores that sell office furniture and things like that, it was only a fraction, and I mean a very small fraction of what it would have been to buy it, compared to what Declan and myself and colleagues came up with over in the rehab centre. And just to talk a bit more about the measurements, as I say, the reason it was mounted on the wall rather than with legs was to allow for my wheelchair to go in under it. Now at this point I would have to point out that every single wheelchair under the sun is different. There's no one size fits all, or group rate, or group setting, or whatever you want to call it. Every single individual is different. In my case, the countertop is 34 inches off the ground, and now that the countertop is in position, we would also be intending to put some shelving over in the left hand corner where the workbench turns around, if you want to call it that. Goes around the corner, I suppose, would be another way of describing it, just for storage space. And as some of you would have seen in a previous video, we have the filing cabinet, which Declan also very kindly sourced for me for tool storage and seed store and tool storage and potting equipment. pots themselves and slug pellets. There's a bit of absolutely everything gone into that storage cabinet at the moment, and the shelving will obviously be more storage. And as well as that, I also spotted online, due to my dangerously nifty eye for spotting things on online shopping and the like, I also spotted what I suppose you would call a tool rack. Basically it's made of plastic, but it's very heavy duty hardware plastic, and but it's actually, I know the way Declan intends to mount it. There's a board part of it, and again, as I say, it's plastic. He intends to mount the board part of it with roller plugs. If any of you don't know what a roller plug is, it's a little, they're usually red, it's a little red plastic thing, like a screw, but it's not a screw, and you just stick them into plastic things like that, or softwood, or whatever it may be. He put some of the roller plugs into it this evening before we left the shed, and I believe he's coming back to me tomorrow evening to finish it. If he doesn't, there's no immediate panic on it. I have the worktop in, and that is the absolute biggest part of the project. I actually don't mind saying it's a little bit of a dream come true, and I don't mind admitting that. What was I going? So hopefully we would have the tool rack and all that in at the moment. Hopefully that'll be done tomorrow to go with the workshop and the whole lot. Then I would be hopeful of getting a permanent and proper electricity supply into the shed as soon as is possible. So I think I was saying there about when we get the proper electricity supply in, it will obviously open up a world of other possibilities. Now, even to get it to the stage it's now at, sometimes I have to actually stop and nearly pinch myself to think that as I'm recording this, it is 2 minutes past 11 on the 10th of August. On the 20th of June, there was up to the height of the windowsill, which is about halfway up the wall, of cow dung still left in it from the last time we had calves in the shed, and it had been lying idle ever since. So even to get it to the stage we're at is not only a phenomenal achievement, but a little bit of a dream come true. Once beef dry stock farming was off the agenda for the time being, at least. Now, at this point, as well as thanking obviously first and foremost Susie, without whom none of this would have been able to be completed, at this point I should also thank my two sisters, Barbara and Anna, and their two husbands, Kieran and Dave, who it was them that really transformed it from calf shed to workshop in the space of about 10 days, and left it that all we, and I say we, even though to be fair to her it was absolutely a lot more Susie than I, to decorate and paint, and Dave gave me a couple of paintings for hanging on the wall as well, one of which you can probably see in the video, which, surprise surprise, I absolutely adore it. It's an absolutely beautiful frame print of a Frisian cow, so it's absolutely astounding to get it to where we're at now. I don't, just before I finish up, I would again draw your attention to the fact, firstly, that the counter has no legs on it, so I have full range. I can literally go in underneath any part of it in the wheelchair, and secondly, that as you can see from the video as well, it does come round in an L shape, and as of now, and before I continue with this statement, I would just say that as at the minute everything is on the table, in the sense that the possibilities are endless. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do in here, but at this point in time I'm ruling nothing out. I just needed a space to myself for a bit of a therapy spot, an escape route, whatever you want to call it, just to have somewhere to keep the farm and blood still flowing through my veins until we see what way that's going to go in the long term, and also to it could broaden the Boylan sports side of the business, and it could actually even throw up other business opportunities. But look, that's all a long way down the line for now. But what I will say is, just before I finish up, as well as the countertop, we also got installed today the beginning of what I suppose you would describe as a tool rack. What this is basically, it's plastic board, but heavy duty plastic, which is mounted on the wall, and thereafter suction cups are affixed to it, and it comes in two parts actually, because there are what I suppose you would call storage drawers that you could hold nuts and bolts or screws and nails or seed or whatever might take one's fancy. And then there are tool storage spaces for things like screwdrivers and wrenches, and there's even bigger spaces for hanging saws and things like that. So I would hope and will be very proud to have it when it's all finally completed, and just to have the space to myself work well for myself and Susie will be therapy in itself. But I'm excited by the opportunities it may throw up. God knows what we'll end up doing. Just finally, before I sign off, if you notice that, as I say, the counter is in an L shape, with the idea being when I drive straight into the shed, straight in the door, I have the long piece of counter in front of me, and the thinking behind that would be that eventually I would have the storage shelves beside me on the wall to the left hand side, and some sockets on the wall, which will mean that the laptop, I'll be able to work on the laptop in the shed. So hopefully the next day we have the camera out and working. You might actually see the two of us hard at work doing God knows what in the shed, and I won't hide my sense of satisfaction at getting the project, I suppose you'd call it, this far, but the excitement at the prospect of the best being yet to come from it is far greater.